is very important, because in this country that we are living, we need to have a good credit score. In other words, we need to have a good credit. Whether you need to buy a car, buy a house, buy something, you need to have a good credit. And not need having cash, but you need a good credit. Sometimes you might not need to have cash, but you must have a good credit. In that case, good credit is very important, very, very important for someone to have. If you have a good credit, doors are open for you. Job, credit card, loan, buying a house, buying a car with a low rate, good for you. So I'm just going to teach you and tell you 5 things that you must pay attention to it in order for your credit to boost up. So you need to have that. In other words, what is the average of a credit score? FICO model of credit score, I'm going to give you the credit score range. For people who have for a very poor credit score, very, very poor credit score, the range is between 300 to 579. Very poor credit score is 300 to 579. In other words, if you have a credit score from 300 to 579, that means you have a bad credit score. 300 to 579 is a bad credit. So in that case, you need to fix it. You need to work on it, because 300 to 574 to 579 is a very bad credit. Poor credit. Now, if you have a fair credit, the 580, between 580 to 669 is a fair credit. It's fair. So it's a little bit fair. So you need to work on it as well. 580 to 669 is fair. You need to work on it. Good credit score is between 670 to 739. If you have a credit score between 670 to 739, it's good. If you can make it higher, it's even better. With 670 to 739, it's a good credit. 740 to 799, it's very good. If you have a credit score between 740 to 799, that's a very good credit. Now, in order for you to have an excellent credit, you need to have it between 800 and up. So if you have an 800 and up, that's an excellent credit. For you to have an excellent credit score, you need to have between 800 to up. So 800 and up. I repeat again, a very poor credit is 300 to 579. So therefore, if you have a 300 credit score, between 300 to 579 is very poor. So you need to work on it. It needs to be fixed. If you have a fair credit like 580 to 669, 580 to 669 is fair. So if you go to a dealer to buy a car, they're gonna charge you, the rate gonna be high because it's 580 to 669. a very poor credit, if you go to a dealer with a credit score with 300 to 579, they're going to charge you very high. Someone who have a credit score, like good credit score between 670 to 739, if they go to a dealer buying a car, they're going to charge them less. For instance, the same car that you buy costs you $400 monthly to pay with a bad credit, with a credit score between 300 to 579. In the same car, a person who have a good credit with 670 to 739, they're gonna pay only $200, $250. And they charge you more, plus you're gonna pay a big interest. So that's why you must working on your credit. So if you have a credit 300 to 579, this is very bad. This is very poor. So you must work on it. If you have a credit score between 580 to 669, it's a low credit also. You need to work on it. It's fair, but they're gonna charge you still high interest. 670 to 739 is good. Very good is 740 to 799. If you have a credit score 740 to 799, that's a very good score. The excellent one is 800 and up. Remember, we have 3 credit bureaus. We have Experian, we have Equifax, and we have TransUnion. So therefore, if your credit score in Equifax is 300, you must check it. You need to check it in Experian and TransUnion as well, because sometimes they differ. So your credit score, if you check your credit score, you see that it's good, you must check it in all of 3, because your credit score go into all those 3 credit bureaus. It might good on Experian, but in TransUnion is different. My good in TransUnion, in Equifax is different. So all those 3 credit bureaus, your credit score go in there, and it must be checking. So therefore, what you have to do, at least every 3 months, 6 months, you need to check your credit. Never and ever stay without checking your credit. You have to check it at least every 3 months to see what's there, so you can have an idea if you need to check it, if you need to dispute it. Don't stay like the whole year without checking. So you need to check your credit score. Remember, there are 3 credit bureaus: Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. So you must check them, all those 3. In that case, your credit score must be good on all of them, not only one. That's why if you check TransUnion, you see your credit score is good, don't do not stay without checking on all of them. So you have to check on others. And you must check your credit at least every 3 months, but at least every 3 months, every 6 months, in order to know what's in there. You have to monetize your credit, monitoring your credit, so you will know what is there, so you can have an idea. So if you need to dispute it, you can dispute it, so your credit can be good. Remember, I told you I'm going to give you 5 things that you always have to do in order to keep your credit. So you have to always keep eyes. The first thing, there are 5 factors that contribute to a higher credit score. First thing is history of on-time payment. So first thing you have to do, always pay your credit on time payment. If you cannot remember that, the best way to do that, you have to set up automatic payment. You have to make it automatically to be taken from your checking account. So therefore, you don't forget about it. You have to make sure You pay on time. That's the first thing that can boost up your credit. Pay on time. Second factors that's good for you, low balance on your credit card. Always keep a low balance. For instance, if you have a credit limit $1,000 on your credit card, do not spend all of them. At least leave half of them. If you have 1,000 on your credit card, spend at least two. Always leave the most. Leave at least 700 as a balance. Leave at least 800, 900. Don't ever spend the whole amount, half on it. Leave the most. For example, like as I said, if you have 1,000, at least spend 300 and leave the 700. That's always a balance. That's good. That boosts your credit up. Thirdly, a mix of different credit card and loan account are good for you. So if you have, for instance, if you have 3 credit cards, you have to have it mixed. Maybe you can have a credit card, you can have a store credit card, and you can have a loan. So you mix it. Never ever have 3 credit cards in one thing or one company. So you have to mix it. You can have one credit card from store, a store credit card, a credit card itself, like a bank credit card, and you can have a loan. So you mix it and boost up. And I'm gonna give you something. I'm gonna tell you something. How never and ever have more than 3 credit cards. The most you can have is 3. But don't get yourself to a lot of credit card. The most you can have is 3. If you have 3 different credit cards with mix, it's good, and pay them on time. 4, older credit card account, keep them. The old account that you have, the one that you paid off already, never and ever close them. Keep them open, even though you not use them. It's good for your credit score. It boosts it up. Always keep your old credit card open. Don't close them. Keep them open. Don't ever close them. Even though you're not used, keep them. Finally, minimal inquiries for new credit, especially hard inquiries. So what you have to do, there are 2 things. There are hard inquiries and soft inquiry. So when you go to a store, like you go to Macy's, you go to JCPenney, whenever the customer service asks you for you to apply for a credit card, the store credit, you have to always ask them, is it gonna be a hard inquiry or is it soft inquiry? Because hard inquiry affect your credit score. It takes some point, and it takes at least 2 years to be removed. So if you don't need the credit card when you go to a store, never let them check in your credit, because it's gonna be hard inquiry on it. If you don't need it, don't do it, because hard inquiry affect your credit score. You're gonna do a credit application, credit card. If you're gonna do one, make sure that you really need it. When you go to the store, they always offer you, say, hey, do you need a credit card? We're gonna give you 40%. We're gonna give something. It's for them to tap you, come in. But if you don't need, don't take it, because especially store credit, it's not too good. So if you don't need the credit card, never and ever let them check it, because it's gonna make it hard to acquire. So lesson how we're gonna tell you. Anytime somebody asks you for application, for you to do an application for the credit card, the first thing that's have to come in your mind and ask them, is it gonna be inquiry, hard inquiry, or a soft inquiry? Because the hard inquiry affect your credit. It's the soft one There's not. So if they're gonna do it for you, ask them. If they said it's gonna be a soft inquiry, but if you want it, if you want to give a test a try, do it because it's soft. The soft inquiry doesn't affect you. Hard one is affect you. But most of the time, the store, when they're gonna do an application for you, those are the hard inquiry. So always make sure it does not affect you. And don't let make you fail that application. And if you don't want it, don't do it, because it can take some point from you, and it takes 2 years to be removed. So in other words, if you don't need an application, don't do it. If you don't need this credit store, don't do it, especially credit store. Store or credit card, especially, they're not too good. So my friend, my people, my family, what I was told you, just as a review. If you have a 300 to 579 credit score, it's very poor. You need to fix it. If you have a 580 to 669, is a fair credit. You need to fix it as well. But if you have a 670 to 739, is a good credit. If you want to push it up, you can still do it. If you have a 740 to 799, that's a very good score. And if you have a 800 up, is excellent. And also, I told you, you have 3 credit bureau: Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. If your credit score is good on one, like for instance, if it's good on Experian, it must be good also in Equifax and TransUnion. So therefore, you need to check all of 3. Because sometimes you have people that have good credit score in one, and others 2. It's not good. So you always need to check your credit score on all of 3. And you must also check your credit score at least every 3 months, 6 months, in order for you to know what's going on. And what I told you, I give you 5 things that you must do and check, have eyes on it, in order for you to have a good score. Your history of on-time payment. Always make your payment on time. Keep low balance on your credit card. Never spend all of money that you give you. If you have $1,000, spend less. A mix of different credit card and loan accounts is good for you. Don't ever have it only 3 credit card in one thing. Always have the mix. For instance, one loan can be 1 credit card loan. You can have one credit with 1 store credit card and 1 credit card or back credit card. You mix them. Never and ever take more than 3 credit cards at least. All the credit card that you had before since one time, keep them. It's good for the age. Never spend all of them. Never cut them. Never close them. And hard inquiry, I told you. If you don't need a credit card, if you don't need them, don't let them make you apply for it. Because hard inquiry affect your credit score. Soft one doesn't affect it, but the hard one is affected. Always ask them, is it gonna be hard inquiry or is it soft inquiry? If this is hard inquiry, if you don't need that credit card, don't do it. So, my friend, my family, that's all I have for you tonight. If you like that video, if you want me to bring you stuff like that, good stuff like that, subscribe, like it, and share it. Got good stuff to bring for you. I have more. I'm gonna help you to boost your credit because you need a credit score, a good credit in this country. You better have a good credit score than having cash, because when you have a credit card, you can buy whatever you want. If you don't have cash, you can save your cash and pay monthly which is better, and buy whatever you want. Keep your credit score, keep eyes on it, and check it at least every 3 months, 6 months. To always check on those three experience, Equifax and TransUnion, make sure